Can the FBI guarantee the American people that known or suspected terrorists, including any from Hamas or other terror groups, are not amongst those gotaways?
Well, certainly the group of people that you're talking about are a source of great concern for us.
But there's really no way for you to guarantee that Hamas isn't in those.
Well, again, as you say, there's the unknown unknown and the known unknown.
Yeah, the unknown and the known unknown. That was FBI Director Christopher Wray yesterday. He could not guarantee whether suspected terrorists are entering the United States undetected and where they are. There were more than 600,000 known migrant gotaways during fiscal year 2023, more than 23,000 gotaways through the first 3 weeks of fiscal year 2024. And to be clear, gotaways are people that you see on surveillance camera. You know they came into the country because you saw them on surveillance camera, but they got away. This does not include the people who you didn't see on surveillance camera, who also got away. Immigration officials encountered 29 suspected terrorists last month as well. 564 terrorists in the entire year, 2023, and 380 in fiscal year 2022. These numbers represent all ports of entries, not just the southern border. Joining me right now is Virginia Congressman Ben Cline, member of the House Judiciary, Budget, and Appropriations Committees. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. Not anything that we should be feeling safe about after that Christopher Wray hearing yesterday.
Not at all. Christopher Wray and his FBI is weaponized against American citizens, but they're ignorant as to whether and how many illegals are coming across our border. Estimated 10,000 Chinese nationals are coming across our border at a time when we have heightened tensions with China. They're stealing our intellectual property. They're spying on Americans. And we don't know where the other illegals are coming from, potentially even Gaza, and they could be members of Hamas. We just don't know at this point, and Christopher Wray is doing a terrible job as FBI director in getting the answers.
Well, let's look at the Chinese migrant encounters, because these numbers just at the southern border are 4,261 in the month of October. 4,261 Chinese nationals at the southern border. However, Customs and Border Patrol have revealed that it's actually more than 7,000 Chinese nationals encountered who have attempted to illegally enter the United States in the month of October. That number is all borders and ports of entries, not just the southern border. Texas Congressman August Pfluger questioned Director Wray about these numbers yesterday. Watch this.
Intelligence to suggest that the CCP is trying to use or directing the flow of CCP or Chinese nationals into the United States?
Well, certainly there are individuals who are affiliated with the Chinese government who are the subject of investigations that we have here, and some of those are people that we're searching for. Now, how they came in, whether they came in illegally or not, is a different question. I've been very consistent in saying that there is no country that presents a broader, more comprehensive threat to our economic security, our national security, our innovation than the Chinese government. And they use non-traditional collectors, not just traditional intelligence operatives, to cause that threat.
So Congressman Pfluger will be joining me in the next hour, Congressman, but what are your thoughts here? Do you think this was brought up during President Biden's meeting with Xi Jinping in San Francisco? Why are all these people from China, military-aged men, coming into America?
To our knowledge, this was not addressed by Biden during the meeting with Xi Jinping, and it is a gaping hole in the national security concerns that should have been raised. This president is all talk and no action when it comes to China. He called the Chinese dictator a dictator, but what we see is an open border policy, an open door policy to Chinese spies to steal our intellectual property, to commit espionage on our soil. That's why I've introduced legislation that would actually deny visas to Chinese nationals who commit espionage. Right now, they just are expelled from our country. We close their consulates in Houston, and then they come right back and apply for visas again. So we need to stop the talk and actually follow it up with action.
Well, I mean, what's your sense? Why? Why? I mean, you can't just pick up and leave China, right? You need approval.
Right. This is part of an operation being structured within the Chinese government. It's amassing on all fronts against the United States, whether it's our border policy, whether it's our economic policy. our technology policy. Right now, they're taking advantage of us and our weaknesses vis-a-vis Taiwan, and they've let it be known that they will be coming after Taiwan, and we have to be ready.
Yeah, they said there's no stopping reunification. That's exactly right. And, you know, Joe Biden did what they wanted and said that the U.S. is going to continue its policy of the one China policy. So he said that yesterday, obviously intentionally. Let's talk about the business here at home. The Senate passed the House's continuing resolution yesterday. The bill, which will fund the government through early next year, now heads to the president's desk for signage, Congressman. What's the timing here, and what are you expecting in terms of government funding in the next couple of months?
Well, over the next several months, we are going to be working to get through the remaining appropriations bills. The House has passed more than half of its appropriations bills. The Senate has passed only 3, and so they need to catch up with us. But we also need to continue to press for the cuts to woke and weaponized government within the FBI, within the DOJ. Commerce, Justice, Science is one of the bills that remains, and we need to get that done. So between now and February, we should be able to clear our decks and get funding that is actually reduced from Pelosi-Biden levels to the president, so that we can actually begin to rein in this wasteful spending that is causing so much inflation across our country.
Well, Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, and House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith briefed Speaker Mike Johnson about the impeachment inquiry yesterday. Johnson released a statement afterwards saying now the appropriate step is to place key witnesses under oath and question them under the penalty of perjury to fill gaps in the record. Congressman, where does this investigation into the potential influence peddling and money laundering go for the Biden family?
Well, the Speaker said, and I'm glad to hear, that we are entering a new phase in the impeachment probe into the Biden family business, and we're going to be calling witnesses. Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's brother are going to be subpoenaed and will be coming before the House, and we will actually fill the gaps about following the money, which we have bank statements now. We have definitely proof of payments to Joe Biden from his brother that flowed from interests from foreign nationals. And we're going to be getting to the bottom of it in the Judiciary Committee and following the facts wherever they lead. And I commend the Speaker for taking that next step to get to that point.
All right, Congressman, we'll be watching your work. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir. Congressman Ben Cline joining us.